What up, y'all? It's your boy Ben here. We're back at it again with another Pokemon Pocket video. For today, we're looking at some very early day one metagame things. We've seen what's this? 44, 17, 180, 154, 9, 31, 11. Just all these folks here who are participating in tournaments first day of the set, just looking at just kind of what are some of the new things that are happening. As always, when we go from meta to meta, some older decks make their ways back into these tournaments because people like to play what they're comfortable with. So we're really just going to be focusing on just the new things, the new shiny things, the things that are doing really well already. So that way when you are climbing up the rank ladder today, you can catch people off by surprise because people don't really know what is going on yet. So if you like what you see here, by all means, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and definitely click that notification bell button so that you do not miss out on a thing. All right, y'all, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right on in and into our first one here. We're looking at the Umbreon deck here. So this is a very, very interesting mix here. We are seeing Sylveon EX and Greninja as support. Sylveon EX is your draw engine. Greninja here is what really enables you to use Dark Chase and really tackle on and enabling your free Cyrus whenever you want. Greninja being able to attack 20 to the bench, bringing up that slot, you're then attacking for 80. Now there's a lot of different variations that is going around with this deck here. This primarily only runs Dark Energy. So you're not attacking with Sylveon and you're not attacking with Greninja aside from the ability. So things in different variations that I've seen is that you're using a non-EX Umbreon, the one that does 1 for 40 damage here, and that way you're really being able to take out Oricorio in 2, right? You attack for 40, but Greninja's set up here, that's an additional 20. Now they're down to then just 10 HP. Greninja can knock it out, and then you can go into something else and attack that way. Other slots that I've seen in this case here is using the chip damage for Darkrai and being able to attack that way as well too, pinging off 20 per turn, being able to do that, and then or you're able to just kind of water shuriken and bring things up and knock them out that way. So just like even just getting around the Oricorios in that sense. There are other folks who are using the EV Bang when they're using like non-EX Umbreon as well too. Silver here is a really great addition to the game. Not only are you shuffling back some game-winning supporters like their Cyrus, their Sabrina, their Lilies, anything that allows them to sustain themselves or even draw a Professor's Research. Now there is a chance that it comes back to you. However, you are limiting their hand in that sense while also being able to see kind of what state they're at. You're able to see the entire hand and pick a card. It's not like a supporter at random. So being able to see their hand allows you to know when you can come in, when not to. And this allows you to kind of plan who you're using your Dark Chase for. Are they further away from clearing out their Charmander? Do you need to be able to dig into that, so like, you know, that Savali and get rid of their type null, like those kinds of things. Information is always key here, and not only does this give you information, but also disrupts it. So I really do like this here. So this is definitely one of the main starters. There's variations, by all means, pick and choose and how you'd like to, but the core of this being Umbreon EX, Sylveon EX, and Greninja, and then trying to find your clear and fun answer that you choose for an Oricorio. On to our next one. We have just kind of like the babies. The babies are really making an impact. It's actually really cool to see. There are packs that are going to be getting you 6 cards, and that 6th card is a baby card, which I thought was really cool. They have their own like different animation as they pop up when you are selecting cards, and I really like the idea that they don't take up a slot. So that's really fun for us to be able to get. But this here is, I'm assuming, running only electric energy just because you have the Raikou here. Raikou hits for 70, so this is really just mainly here to tech in for Oricorio. And then you have your Magby here to take fire energy and bring it along. You have Crackly Toss, which is lightning energy, and bring it along. You could even run like dual energy, but I don't really see the need to because you have your Ho-Ho EX here. They're probably running this person's probably running both Magby and Pichu, and you're probably asking yourself, well, why not just 2 Pichus if you're running lightning only with the Raikou. Maybe they just didn't open up a Pichu just quite yet, but either way, like 2 Pichus is totally fine here. The name of the game is if you're going first, you're able to crackly toss and start powering up your Ho-Oh. You retreat for free, so this Ho-Oh then goes into Lugia here for 180, and then you're attacking that way. The 80 damage still does a lot, and what's really nice here is that they're not technically like all in per se. Oh, let me backtrack here. I think we are running water at least, because we have the Irida here, so that's actually pretty cool. There's some healing, or maybe the Irida is only for Lugia. Let me know right now down in the comments. Do you think this is lightning only? If you played in this tournament and you happen to be watching, and if you have any ideas, that'd be really cool to know. I think it's lightning only, and because this allows you to give out water, you can get away with a free heal per se. You have your 2 leaves here to kind of just, if you only have Lugia to start off with, just to be able to reset, which is really nice. Guzma here, making sure that this 180 hits for 180 and not anything else, is really clutch here. Same thing with the Sabrinas for those who are just trying to hide away, or even just getting away from a Oricorio if you haven't already taken one out. And what's really nice here is that if you do take one out, Sabrina secures you another KO here, especially with this 180 damage that's there. A little fun thing to note, if you have enough health and you're facing Oricorio, you still get the effect here. So even if you don't get the damage off for 80 and you just kind of want to make sure that you get your energies going, you can still do that as well too. Elemental Switch is the name of the game here, replaces the Dawn because you have that fire, water, or electric energy ready to go, and then you're able to just kind of like move it up to these folks as you need to. That way you can play this on top of a supporter as well too. So pretty fun. If you're looking for a way to play with the burbs, this is really kind of like all in with just like a piece of tech here to make sure that you can go against that Mon that can stop your EXs. So we'll continue on, and we are seeing the rebirth of Dragonite EX. Dragonite is a fan favorite. You love to see it. It thrives really well. And then with this Dragonite EX, with the new EX that was introduced to us last set, this Giga Impact, another 180. This effect, however, means that you can't attack the next turn. So in come things like Lyra right here. You're gonna get hit with Dragonite EX. Lyra allows you to switch out from the Dragonite EX into one of your other mons, and then you can then retreat. The switch, it being the key word here, is super important because that means you have not taken away your retreat slot. So if you go into one of your babies, you get to retreat for free and get to attack once again, and not really worrying about giving up that energy there at all. So that's really nice here. Elemental Switch, again, being able to give up the energy from Zeraora or anything that Pichu is doing, just to ensure that you can go really quickly into your Dragonite EX there. There are some folks who are running only water energy for this deck, because you can get your electric energy from Pichu or from Zeraora. You are 60% chance of starting with these folks, of like making sure that you're getting there. But you can also run dual energy just to ensure that you always have it. And we also love a good old Amber, because even switching into the old Amber or switching into your babies means this is a free retreat or a free discard into your Dragonite EX. Once that switch happens, you reset, you get to attack for 180 that following turn, really taking out your opponent. And so we continue here into this kind of like psychic EV box kind of deck here. So we're seeing 2 Sylveon EXs, 2 Espeon EX, and 1 non-EX Sylveon here in terms of for all these EVs. And Sylveon EX, as we know, since we're running Psychic Energy, you get to draw 2 cards, but then you get to attack for 70. Espeon EX allows you to heal 30, and healing 30 once per turn is really huge, especially when you can couple that up with EV Bag for another additional 20 health in the same turn. So like there's initially a turn where you can heal up to 70 damage there, and that sounds pretty insane. And with all of these EVs that you got going on, you can have up to 4 evolutions, which means that Sylveon here is able to deal an additional 120 on top of the 40 for Evo Harmony, being able to really knock out things pretty quickly, punching above its weight class as a non-EX into those EX ones there. And then the rest of here, just kind of like your supporters, to ensure that you're just able to continue to control the game when you need to, reaching your hit points as they needed, and then really making sure that folks can't run away or hide from you. Sylveon not only being able to be a firm attacker into these EXs, but you have to deal with the bird, and so that is a great way to really tech that piece into it. It's really interesting to see this question of whether or not do I include Find a Friend or Collect here. I think for this deck in particular, I really do like the Find a Friend. I think that was a good call because Sylveon specifically boosts up from having evolutions on the bench, and so you want to find your Pokemon. I do like the Collect and some of the other like stage 2 decks because you do like finding your rare candies, you do like finding your other supporters in those styles of decks. So I think it's very situational, but a deck that's really focused on making sure that you have your evolutions on the board to really sure this power up, or you really want to get to these draw 2, or you really want to heal, I think this is a really good piece to switch in here. And then we continue on into... Hi, buddy. Come here. What's going on?
Lego potty.
Oh, that's so fun. Well, we'll make sure that YouTube knows that you need to go potty, buddy.
But I need help.
Okay, go tell Mama. All right, up next we have this Umbreon Crobat Sylveon deck. I'm thinking that folks are finding that the Crobat EX has been a real game changer, jumping its way up into like top tier, like tier 1 in terms of meta decks so far. So if you're looking for really a strong deck, like really start here with this one. For 1 energy, you're attacking for 70 and you're poisoning folks, and so that just continuously stacks. Since it's only 1 energy, you can dedicate that dark energy into your Darkrai. From there, you can also take advantage of having Sylveon EX, so really again you're drawing into your stage 2s here, but why not have a dark Umbreon EX in there, because it's like, why not? If you're like, how do I deal with Oricorio, you don't really need to worry about this, because one, you're getting the poison off, and then you're getting the ping from the Nightmare Aura. Then you get to poison, if they don't retreat, they get poisoned up again, and then you get to have the ping and the poison go from there. So I think there's a lot of good ways of tackling that out here. And I love the fact that the dark energy is teching in an Umbreon EX to kind of give you an additional Cyrus boost here to really play around that. Silver here to disrupt their hands. Something gross that I've seen with this deck list especially is hitting folks after they gather their cards with a red card, so they go to 3, and then silver right after the fact to potentially get them down to 2. So you're going from a 5, 6, 7 card hand down to 2 cards in a single with you using their 2 cards. That is insane when it comes to hand advantage in that sense. But Crobat dealing 1 energy, 70 for poison damage as well, so technically you're doing 80 in that single turn, is really great. And you get to stack up that Darkrai, retreat only for 1 cost. This is a deck that likes to go first. If you can get your Zubat and your Crobat into it, this is where you get your Sylveon EX to really help you be consistent in the stage 2. This is a very powerful deck indeed. Up next, we continue into the Donphan EX. We kind of like shouting out that this is getting some love here. Tyrogue is very interesting this style deck because you don't have any energy. You don't need any energy to attack. And let's say you draw this out later on, but and you have your 2 Lucarios out, you're attacking for no energy for 60 damage. It's kind of funny of like how that works out. Donphan can do an additional 60 damage with 3 energy. For 1, you're dealing with 50, but again, you're getting supported through the fighting coach ability of Lucario, so that 110 can go up to 130 or into 150. And even myself, I kind of have to really like relook at what Hiker does for each of your Pokemon, find Pokemon in play. Look at that many cards from the top of your deck and put them back in any order. I like that a lot. You're getting a lot of Pokemon. That means up to 4 cards that you can see and play around with, and based off of what your opponent is doing, you can then say, I want a Cyrus, or I want a Sabrina, or I want the Giovanni to reach out for it. And I like that. I like the control of knowing what's coming up next and not only knowing what's coming up next and putting into the exact order of which I need it, so that way I can continue to control the game, right? Like being able to control what you draw and know that it's not random, knowing that I'm gonna get my evolution next, knowing I'm gonna get the Lucario next, even though I have my Riolu in there, knowing that I don't have any of my Pokeballs, so like let me get that Pokeballs up to the front instead of waiting 4 extra turns for it. Is really good, and in this style of decks with Donphan EX is a great way to really use the hiker in that sense. And I really do like the fact that there's only one, because I don't really think that you need to do this effect twice. But Donphan EX, 3 energy, possible 150 damage, possible 60 damage, which your Lucario support is really strong here. And then we're gonna go back to the Crobat EX, because I thought this one was really spicy. It is double Crobat action here, right? Like no, Batman. You have your Arceus EX out to enable the ability Cunning Link here, and so you could have Crobat on your bench and Crobat EX out there, so you're dealing 110 damage in 1 turn. Then you're powering Arceus EX up to ensure that you can get this ultimate force out as well too, because this is only 1 energy. Where else are you going to put that extra dark energy too? So this is a really great place to be in. The leaf here is just in case we do start off with our Arceus EX, or kind of just reset and attack from there. And Sylveon, you get 1, but even just having 3 Professor's Research just enables this to feel a lot stronger. So I like this a lot. I thought this was really cool and a great way to be creative, because I definitely thought of like the support for Crobat EX. Like, do I want to play with both? And just like seeing this like deck come out into action, and also seeing it doing well into some high wins was really strong. And then we'll switch into here. So these last 2 are not new, because we've seen Savali and Oricorio, Savali and Bastion, but their support here is pretty great. So this is again the power of these baby mons into the energy type that you're using. So if you're like, hey, I want to slot Pichu or Magmate, or kind of like use them into a really strong deck, Savali really isn't going anywhere. And you kind of have that free reign to do that. Being able to do this first, or like start off with Pichu first, or start off with Magby first, really sets you up in a really strong place, and that's really great to see. Bashful Flan is a strong card here, and being able to beat Punk that 130 goes a long way as well. So yeah, y'all, let me know what y'all think. For sure, let me know what decks lists that you're playing. This variation was what I kind of started off with, and I'm excited to kind of like dig into the rest of these and just kind of see how they all go along, especially like this Donphan one. It's been really cool, looks really fun, and Dragonite EX as well too. All right, y'all, I'll catch you on the next one. Until then, peace.